Welcome to your favorite channel, Jomo Kevin TV. Please kindly hit the subscription button so that you miss no episode. Subscription is free. A category of African literature styled by renowned literary minds as Onisha Market Literature spread across West and parts of Central Africa in the late 50s and 60s. It was referred to as Onisha Market Literature because Onitsha in Nigeria was the center of these publications. The writers were based in this ancient town, which had printing facilities. These writers, most of them who completed primary school, published pamphlets which cut across different sectors of life. The issues were common, practical, but the language was the most attractive. The vocabulary was a mixture of high-sounding words which made communication hazardous. However, the language appealed to especially the young people of the time. The pamphlets were very popular. Some titles were, for example, in politics, The Last Days of Lumumba. Another title, Dr. Nkrumah in the Struggle of Freedom. And another, Important Records on Nigerian Civil War. The social topics were predominant. For example, titles as How to Write Love Letters and Win Girls' Love, Life and Money, 10 Man Up and Down, My 7 Daughters Are After Boys, Beware of Women, How to Live a Bachelor's Life Without Mistakes, Corner Corner Love, Husband and Wife, No Condition is Permanent. On administrative pamphlets, there was the popular title, Complete Letter Writing Made Easy. The epic pamphlet of the period was captioned, Veronica, My Daughter. Most young men of the 60s remember the famous recitation by the principal character in the pamphlet, Bombastic. One of those phrases, as I was descending a declivity yesterday with such an excessive velocity, I suddenly lost the center of my gravity and I was precipitated on a macadamized thoroughfare. These pamphlets had a remarkable impact on the lives of young and the old.
There were really quite small pamphlets with about maybe 30 pages. You see, they were very, very interesting pamphlets that covered every walks of life. For example, we have one popular one which was entitled How to Speak to Girls and Win Their Love. This one was a pamphlet which attracted many students who wanted to use good letter writing style to win the heart of girls. These letters had their own format, and these formats were, I don't know the meaning up to now. For example, you write on the right hand side of your envelope ditto, that is D-I-T-T-O. Then you started your letter. Or if you don't write ditto, you write there date in full. Whatever date, one cannot tell. Then you just start your letter with maybe darling, my sweetheart, my lovely, my apple of my eye. So, like the other day, as I was moving through the Makamadais thoroughfare, I saw you and I just decided to put this into writing. This introduction, captivated the guy. You needed to use some grammar, which in fact the Onisha guys coined for us students to copy and write to these girls. This other one, Veronica, my daughter, was in fact a play. Bombastic also, that is another. You needed good vocabulary, high sounding words, which whatever I meant, in fact nobody had the meanings, the meanings of the, we did not even know the meanings, but we needed to sound really high in order to make the girls convinced that at least you are quite learned.
But there were some, Mr. Peter Kings, which were talking about how to write letters to get a job, how to write other forms of letters. Did you have an experience with some of those pamphlets?
Yes, not only writing an application or how to write a query, there's also how to make speeches. Yeah, because they were ready-made speeches for parliamentarians, for headmasters, for occasions, even for birthday parties. These were already written. They were ready-made speeches that you bought when you had. In fact, it depended upon the occasion. But all these occasions were written in this Onitsha literature. In our days, letter writing, first of all, was quite important to meet a girl, because to meet the girl face to face was quite a different story. You could not. First of all, we were timid. You needed to sum up courage to meet a girl, to talk to the girl, to tell her, to express your emotions to her. So the only way we could do this now is by letter writing. And with this letter writing, sometimes you must be sure that this girl will receive your letter and read it. If not so, there are some girls who sometimes take your letter, read it, burn it, part of it, then they put it back in the same envelope, seal it, then they write on it, back to sender. Jomo, when you receive a back to sender letter, honestly speaking, you are a goner. Because they will insult you that, your letter was sent back to you and things like that.
So how did you young people acquire some of those small pamphlets from Onitsha?
The pamphlets were not quite expensive. At that time, had the pamphlets for about 350 francs, 150, 250. Although to come by that 350 or 150 was not a chicken feed. You needed to do some small wash bottles. You wash your bottles and sell, because the bottle at that time was one for 1 franc. So to have 10 francs, you needed to wash 10 bottles. And to get up to 250 francs to buy a pamphlet, you needed to do some work.
Was there any form of exchange, interaction between the students, especially when you got top phrases from some of those books like Bombastic and so on?
Sometimes, when we sit down, to like big words, you just tell someone, please don't be embarrassed if I say these words to you. When you talk a word like embarrassed, people needed to look for a dictionary to know what embarrassment means. Speaking, when they know that Peter Kings, you are good in grammar, the phrases did not matter, but the high-sounding words in the sentence was the most important. During socials, even in the secondary school, during our socials in the evening, when they asked you to come and present a story or a topic, you needed to come out with some high-sounding words. You don't just come in and just narrate a story as easy as that. Their story must accompany words which may not even be found in the dictionary.